What's up, everybody? Today we're working on spray painting my COLT 727 clone, kind of inspired by Black Hawk Down, as with every kind of retro AR clone. Not the most accurate, technically not the right pistol grip, but I swapped, have a retro butt stock with the butt pad zip tied on, and I had to cut it a little bit to actually make it fit. I have a Surefire 6P on there. This is, you're gonna have to forgive me, it is a PSA rifle. I got it out of a pawn shop for like 400 bucks, and I figured, you know what, carry handle is close enough for a fun range toy, so it doesn't have to be the most reliable of weapon systems. I did swap the barrel because it originally had a pencil barrel, and this is a Vortex red dot. I don't remember the exact model, but I figured it looked close enough to the old aim points that they use. This is my personal rifle that I have kitted out, that I spray painted before, as you can see with the netting there. I used some laundry netting and some brush to kind of create this pattern. But I've already spray painted a few other rifles in my own personal collection, most of them being airsoft guns, and those airsoft guns, I use this very similar pattern of using the laundry net with the brush here. So this time around, I actually got some stencils that I'm gonna try to use. I do work night shift, so I'm out here a little bit later than I wanted to be. It's currently getting close to sundown, and also the weather is terrible and rainy, so the lighting is gonna be pretty awful, so I apologize for that. So for right now, I'm probably gonna working on some of the magazines that I have for these rifles first, and kind of try to work out on making a pattern using those stencils, and just kind of see how that goes. You'll have to pardon me, the quality between clips may change because I'm going between using my cell phone as a camera and my GoPro, so that way I can use both my hands and record my footage of me painting this stuff, because I don't own a bipod because I'm poor and lazy. But that being said, I got some painter's tape. I have this stencil that I got off Amazon, came with a bunch of other stencils that I might try later down the road. Some gloves, because I'm retarded and I get paint all over myself every time I use this spray paint. And those are the 4 colors that I'm going to be using. I live in a bit of a greener area, so forgive me, I'm not going to stick to the tried and true desert camouflage, because for funsies, I'm going to make things a little more practical. I have an airsoft XM177 replica that I've spray painted a little bit more accurately to the Black Hawk Down look. It's on my TikTok, so if you go on my TikTok, you'll see that spray paint, as well as that rifle that I showed earlier, my other personal rifle that I've spray painted. So check out my TikTok, same username as my YouTube channel. But anyway, I'm gonna stick to the greener tones, so I'm probably only gonna use 3 out of the 4. Probably use the 2 shades of green there, and then maybe the brown, and switch between the brown and the khaki. We're just gonna see how it looks, you know. Just this is all experimental. That's the nice thing about spray painting, is that you can do whatever you want, right? There's no fucking rule book. There's no rubric. These are Duramags, some Duramags I picked up off of I don't know, some website. They're always cheap. They're relatively cheap and reliable. I figure these style of magazines fit a lot better than P-Mags when it comes to the retro AR look. And just tape it up. I'm probably not going to tape the top, because I'm not going to really try to hit the top of the magazine with spray paint. Maybe I'll end up regret. You know what? I'll tape it off anyways. I got plenty of tape. Just to be safe, just a little pinch at the top, it's fine. And boom, it's taped off. This is probably gonna look like crap, but who cares? You know, this is all for fun. It's all gonna get used in a flat range anyways, so it's not the most serious of matters, right? We're just gonna hit these bad boys with a nice layer of brown first as a base layer. I probably could sand these a little bit to maybe try to get a little better adhesion, but these are Duramags, they're aluminum, so I don't really know if that's necessary. And worst case, I'll just hit them with spray paint again, you know, if it comes off. That's the wonderful thing about spray paint. This pattern might be a little big, but we're gonna see how it works. A little big for these magazines, but you know, screw it. Might look better on the actual rifle. And again, worst case, if I don't like it, we can always just start from scratch. That's the magic of it. Pattern might be a little big to fit a third color on, but we'll see. But I actually kind of dig that. All right. I'm gonna try on each of these mags, maybe fitting a third color on. So I do kind of look like I like it, but I don't know. I think to me it could use a third color. So probably swap between the khaki. Probably do this one with the khaki for the third, and then maybe this one try the lighter green on this one, and just kind of see how that goes. All right, so that's how they kind of turned out with a third color, with the light green last, and this one with the khaki last. So I don't hate it, but I think if anything, because of how large the pattern is, I'm probably gonna want the most prominent colors, the colors that I want to pop up the most last, since the pattern is so large. All right, so this is the finished product. Hey, as you can tell, it's getting dark outside, so it's time for me to wrap up. I will attempt to spray paint my rifle later. I think so far probably my favorite patterns that came out was probably that one, the OD green as the last color, and maybe these two here. I do like how these two came out. Not a fan of the khaki and the green, and the two shades of green. This one was a little bit better. I think that was khaki last. Out of these magazines, I'm probably gonna consult some friends of mine and see which of these 7 patterns should I use on the rifle. And then we'll see how it goes. All right guys, so we're finally back out here, ready to spray paint the rifle. So all I'm going to do in terms of tape is around the lens here, naturally, to I'll make sure I cover up that glass. I'm just gonna put a little piece of tape down the barrel, and honestly, that's about it. I'm not worried about taping off any of the selector, the selector switch, the trigger, any of the mechanisms, any of the aperture or anything like that. I'm not worried about making sure it looks perfect. We're just gonna spray paint it exactly how it is. Probably even just spray paint these lens covers too, who cares, you know. I'm gonna start with the base layer of tan, then the second layer with the pattern we're gonna do brown, then the light green here, and then this OD green. And that's basically gonna be the overall colors of this rifle here. And of course, still using this template, and we're gonna see how it goes. That being said, let's get our first layer. think this can's done. All right, so we got the first layer of tan down. So next we're gonna start adding our template, and we're gonna go with the dark brown next. Yeah, just a nice layer all over it. I'm kind of just spraying indiscriminately. Not too worried about perfection here. So we're just gonna slap our template down. We're gonna grab our brown, and we're just gonna see how this goes. I think the idea is that tan is going to be the least visible color at this point. The tan is not the most, it's not the most frequent color in my environment. So yeah, I'm not too worried about having a lot of tan on this paint job for that reason. All right, time for the green, the light green. This is my new can. Let's see, I'll try to kind of get it in a unique angle here. That way we're still preserving some of the tan and still preserving some of the brown. There very well may be very little tan after all this. This is more or less the finished rifle. Pretty green. Again, green is what I was looking for because I am in a more tropical area. It's kind of a dull green. I wish I had brighter shades of green, or maybe not necessarily brighter, but more tropical feeling greens. As I was being impatient, I wasn't waiting for the paint to dry. I am a little bit on a time crunch today, so I wasn't really taking my time with it, meaning I was flipping the rifle back and forth before it completely dried on either side. So there are some parts like here, the muzzle, the flashlight, where I was resting the rifle, and when I would pick it up, the paint would peel off. And again, what does it matter? This is a range toy, and on top of that, right, if we're looking for a LARPer look, we kind of want, the goal of this is to let it get roughed up as we use it anyways, right? I do realize I probably need to paint this at least. So future reference, extend the buttstock and then paint it. I don't know why I'm only just now realizing this. I'm very stupid. But anyway, right? This is what it looks like with one of the magazines in. Probably looks a little bit better with one of these magazines that has less brown in it, right? So this is the final product with the 7 magazines. As you can see, out of the 7 magazines, I didn't replicate one specific pattern onto the rifle because I did end up doing all 4 colors as opposed to each magazine at max had 3. like I said, I started with the tan, and then I went with the brown, and then the light green, and then the darker green. So most of the gun is the darker shade of green, which is kind of what I was going for. I did end up repainting the receiver on both ends because it just kind of became an amalgamous blob. You can see there's a little bit more distinct pattern on this side now, as well as the other side. The only downside being is that the brown spray paint started dying on me, so you can kind of see there's very little of it, unfortunately, now in the center, and the parts that are brown are kind of spattered. Looks like someone had explosive diarrhea and some of it got on my gun, but that's okay. All right, gang, so this is the result, the finished product. In terms of color, again, it leaves a little to be desired. I kind of wish that I had a more green, a little more vibrant of a green color. Unfortunately, I had like an olive drab and a kind of like an army green, OD green kind of color. But overall, pretty satisfied. It does the job. And again, this gun is just for LARP. Honestly, this is not necessarily like my go-to rifle. This is just for funsies. I wanted a Colt 727 kind of reproduction, and the paint job is not exactly inspired by Black Hawk Down, but the build of the weapon is. As you can see, it is now getting quite dark. I just got back from jiu-jitsu, so I'm a little sweaty and gross, and now it's starting to rain. But this has been a fun experiment. Definitely not the first rifle I've spray painted. Probably won't be. It definitely won't be the last. It's an art that I'm going to continue to work on. But overall, I'm satisfied. I like it. Of course, if you have any questions about any specifics, you're more than welcome to ask, and I'll do my best to answer. All right. Appreciate it, you guys.